Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach and today we're going to be talking about NFTs again as per usual. I want to talk about something that I think could be absolutely huge again for VeVe, ECOMI and OMI. Before we get into it, I just realized let's have a quick look at the price because we haven't done that in a couple of videos from now. I've recorded like 3 videos in a row, but let's look at the price. So it's 0.002498 on a low of 2376 and a high of 2564. Nothing changing, pretty much just the same, which is what we would expect, right? Now, NFTs are coming to India's flourishing art market. This is really important, and I'm going to explain why in this video. Now, what I'm seeing with the story that we see here has a lot of parallels, in my opinion, to what I see actually in gaming. And I come from gaming. I have been making a living in gaming entertainment for the past few years now. I am in my early 20s, so that's that. And I want to talk about foreign markets. When I say foreign, I mean foreign to myself, obviously, right? Because this is something that gamers oftentimes, especially gamers in business, which is interesting, oftentimes miss, right? It's becoming more of a conversation now, but I want to make sure that it's a conversation in NFT and crypto land as well, right? Which is why I'm making this video and trying to share the message. The reality is that oftentimes when we're looking at new emerging markets, and especially in gaming at least, people are very quick to only focus on the markets that they're invested in, I guess, right? So that would be generally in the West. In gaming at least, we see Call of Duty, we see Overwatch, we see World of Warcraft, we see Call of Duty, I think I've already said, League of Legends. We see many different IPs, right? But a lot of the gaming IPs that do well in the West aren't even heard of in the East. And similarly, a lot of the things that are happening in the East aren't necessarily being seen in the West. So for example, Mobile Legends is freaking huge in India, in Vietnam, in Thailand, yet you've probably never heard of it, but you've heard of Call of Duty. Same thing with Honor of Kings or King of Glory, Arena of Valor. That is one of the biggest games in the world, and you've probably never heard of it before. Now, I want to go to take this to the crypto end with NFTs and India, because I think that this could be huge for VeVe. And I think it could open up a massive market. Auction houses are struggling to cater to India's growing appetite for art. With 624 million internet users in India, NFTs could be the perfect disruptor. Let's read that again, because it's really important. Auction houses are struggling to cater to India's growing appetite for art. With 624 million internet users in India, NFTs could be the perfect disruptor. 624 million users is not something to ignore, right? Let's be real. VeVe doesn't even have 1 million users yet. Now, we're getting close, to be fair, you know, we'll be there hopefully this year. But when you think about that and then think about the fact that that's 1 out of 624 to users in India, pretty crazy, right? Let's go forward though. The art sector has visibly struggled during the pandemic. A study by Art Basel found that public auction sales have fallen by an average of 30% over the past year. The impact has, in part, been offset by a forced transformation as some auctioneers and galleries turned reluctant disruptors moved to engage patrons through digital platforms. Ruchia Dalmia is a digital assets consultant at Deloitte. Sorry if I got the location name wrong. The recent interest in NFTs in the art market must then come as a relief to some within an industry struggling to find success online. The news of an NFT auction where a work by digital artist people sold for 69 million to an Indian origin entrepreneur by a major auction house was widely touted as a breakthrough in digital art. Since then, further NFT sales hosted by the biggest global auction houses have continued to see significant demand. Many are already predicting an upending of the centuries-old art market, expecting patrons to eschew traditional auction houses and instead choose to buy digital art through decentralized marketplaces. Some critics disagree. They argue that NFTs are simply the newest bubble in an industry categorized by pump and dump cycles of speculation, claiming that many of the digital art world's newest patrons seek nothing more than a get-rich scheme from flipping acquired NFT works. Now, are they wrong? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. I would say that there is a part of that, right? I think many of us would agree that there are a lot of pump and dump things going on, and there's a lot of not necessarily valuable NFT art that is being trying to be sold, and it's not really working out for people, right? Claims that the art world is about to see a reckoning due seems dubious, yet at the same time, arguments that suggest NFTs are nothing more than a passing fad are equally facile. The fundamental concept and technology behind NFTs hold promise. They are likely to shape the creation of a new market within the art sector and bring new innovations. And of course, Gary Vee has done a great job and is starting to become sort of known, I guess, as well within the NFT space for specifically comparing this to the .com bubble, right? Now, I wasn't really old enough during the .com bubble to be aware of anything that was going on back then. I'm in my early 20s, right? Gary's not. Gary's in his, I would assume, mid-40s. And so what I'm seeing right here is a technology that is very new. And because it's new and because of general human ways of thinking, I guess, people are seeing the crap and thinking that the crap is everything. What I mean by that, of course, is they're not seeing the gold in the sea of crap. Does that make much sense? I'm not sure. Basically, of course, certain NFTs are very, very useful, very worth it, depending on the value to the buyer. Certain NFTs are being sold for a lot to be sold for even more when there isn't much demand for that NFT, right? And that's just general business, consumer demand, consumption, supply, demand stuff. That's nothing really new. How are NFTs valuable in the art space? NFTs are not a new concept in the blockchain world. They have been around for several years now, finding popularity within the gaming market and as fan collectibles, with more than one grown adult going into meltdown while attempting to acquire families to digital cats. I'm hoping that's not an actual story. Actually, to be fair, I see what they're saying now. However, as an increasingly popular class of digital assets, need to move around a bit, NFTs can also be used as a digital certificates to represent provable ownership of art, recorded and easily verifiable using a blockchain. The represented artworks are typically digital, as has been the case with many of the high-profile NFT sales, but may even be physical, such as a painting or a sculpture twinned to its digital record through an electronic tag. Now, really what's important here is this stuff right here, okay? Because obviously NFT art is what NFTs is really being known for right now with CryptoPunks and that lot, right? The reality is that NFTs have, well, blockchain technology in particular has a lot more uses, right? And that can be intertwined with art. So for example, you can buy a piece of NFT art and that might give you access to an actual NFT convention, maybe like Gary Vee's VeFriends, you know? The rise of NFTs has gone hand in hand with the growth of digital spaces that enable their popularity. The value of NFTs comes with the ease with which they can be traded, causing a number of highly liquid exchanges for digital art to appear. With improved user experiences and better supporting infrastructure, NFT art will continue to gain legitimacy as a new innovation in the art market. The rise of NFTs has gone hand in hand with the growth of digital technology that enable their popularity. Decentralized auction houses are emerging to cater to new markets for digital art. New layers of sophistication are gradually emerging from the convergence of NFT markets with decentralized finance. Now, the digital art thing, actually, I'm just thinking about it now because I do have Asian heritage. I do have family who live in Asia, and I go to Asia when it's not a pandemic, obviously. So I actually last time I went to Asia was Sri Lanka back in 2018 or 19, I think, before everything hit the fan, basically. And technology really is something that a lot of people in India and a lot of people in Sri Lanka specifically, and I'm sure in other parts of Asia too, are really not taken for granted, because a lot of people over there, obviously education is incredibly important. There's a culture around education, and technology is a part of that now, right? The number of people going into STEM for software engineering in India, in Sri Lanka, etc., is becoming a more common career path, almost like being a doctor at this point, right? And so with that comes digital literacy. And so there's going to be a lot of young people, for example, who are getting to know how all of this works, probably actually not just getting to know, but honestly probably pioneering. I mean, literally what we just saw was that Beeple sold to an Indian entrepreneur, right? Somewhere up here, Indian origin entrepreneur. It's not surprising. A lot of these people are seeing opportunities and they are taking advantage, which only makes sense. Now, if this becomes a widely adopted culture in India and other parts of Asia, this is an absolutely huge market for VeVe, of course, if VeVe decides to be in it, which I would suggest that they would be. You know, they're a company that is based in Singapore. You know, I believe that David Yu is NZ based. You know, Reese is from Australia, Trevor's from North America somewhere, I'm sure. And so it's a global, entirely global platform. Let's keep going though. The value of NFTs comes with ease with which they can be traded, causing a number of highly liquid things. You have already read that, my bad. The result is a tranche view of new, increasingly elegant instruments designed to drive greater access and funding, enabling fractional ownership, collateralized lending, and index trackers for NFT markets. As such, it is possible that NFTs and tokenized assets more broadly could offer new ways to finance creativity and improve access for artists and buyers alike. An opportunity for India. While India represents around a 7% share of the global economy in terms of gross domestic product, its art is comparatively small. In 2018, India accounted for just 1% of world imports in art compared with China's share of 9%. Yet despite its relatively small footprint, and with the exception of the pandemic, Indian art market has begun booming. Annual auction revenue in 2018 grew by a remarkable 29% from the previous year, outpacing almost every other market in Asia. That is huge. Auction houses are struggling to cater to India's growing appetite for art, with just 7% of works in 2018 going unsold compared with a global average of 30%. Demand for art is soaring, and auctioneers, the traditional middlemen between arts and patrons, are fast becoming a bottleneck. Proponents hope NFT marketplaces will emerge as an alternative, offering India's 624 million internet users a new medium to buy and sell digital art. Now, if only we knew of an NFT marketplace that's trying to do big things. If only we knew of one, huh? If only we knew of an NFT marketplace that's trying to do things. Now, of course, VeVe is not the only NFT marketplace. We have OpenSea and the others, and I'm sure that they're also going to see great success. But at the end of the day, this all comes down to who is delivering the most valuable and the best product to an accessible way to many people, right? Now, if VeVe can take this on, this is going to be freaking huge, right? In a country where many artists lack access to sufficient funding, the impact of this could be profound, right? With the royalties in perpetuity, etc., very important. Such success could open access to a diverse range of grassroots artists from across India. It is not so ridiculous to imagine digital artworks developed in Bengal's Kalighat style of folk art, for example. Indian artists might instantly be empowered to offer their works to a global audience and gain access to new means of financing for further development. In a country where many artists lack access, we've read that, it could also unlock new art forms by financing creativity and reinvigorating fading traditions. The most obvious challenge is legal. NFT marketplaces are predominantly developed on the Ethereum blockchain, and the largest depend on Ether as the main currency for buying and selling artworks. Cryptocurrencies face legal and regulatory uncertainty in India. It is still unclear whether authorities will attempt to ban them again. NFTs themselves have no legal basis in India today, and therefore may also come under scrutiny from regulators. Okay, that's actually interesting. India may have quietly shown its hand on crypto regulation. A recent informant against Wazir X, India's largest exchange, offers a glimpse. So is this actually, I didn't know about this. Is this a big issue? It may well be. Later declared it mandatory for companies to declare their crypto investments during the financial year, considered by some of the steps towards even hinting towards the possibility of upcoming tax regulations. All these developments. So I know that India is being really careful with digital stuff in general, like Twitter, for example. They're making them do certain things for like privacy and stuff. A recent chain analysis report indicate that crypto investments in this. Okay, and on the other hand, Indian crypto exchanges saw their banking access being restricted. The Reserve Bank of India's governor clarified on the record that there were no exchange in the RBI's stance on cryptocurrency. So that's not good, right? And of course, people are, I think mainly this is a problem for facilitating money laundering, I guess. Finance companies have had to cease operations in Ontario and now in the UK. Okay, so that's something different. Regardless, though, I do wonder if NFTs are going to have the same issue. They may well do, by all means, right? But if this also is a way for India to, I think if they figure out a way to regulate this that makes it work with the country, which I don't know if that's possible, but if they do, then this will be huge for India's economy, right? People will be able to sell NFTs or whatever, hopefully make good money basically, and then spend it in India. Such issues restrict access and constrain adoption. The government also plans to introduce a cryptocurrency bill outlining its position later this year. So that's going to be really interesting, right? They argue that the government has hinted at softening a stance and is considering regulating digital assets instead of prescribing them. Interesting. That would be good, right? Or at least that would be better. More complex still is the matter of digitizing India's art market. For example, putting up NFT-backed works may be simple for a digital artist based in a tech hub like Bangalore, but less feasible for a folk painter, say, in Bikaner. Over time, access will improve. Art collectives, charities, and private galleries may be able to help bring more owned artists online, widening the reach of. And this is the thing: if India takes it seriously, then things should be good. They might expect disruption, but India's auction houses are unlikely to see NFTs as a threat. Rightly so. Three of the world's largest auction houses have been quick to recognize an opportunity to expand their new business models and new customers by auctioning NFTs on their platforms or forging new partnerships with NFT marketplaces. I want to have a quick look at that too. Established art houses potentially stand to gain from this kind of collaboration. India's art establishment should take note. That's the end of the article, but I want to quick look at this, see what's going on with this, unless it's too much, which I think it is. So we'll look at that at some other point. But not taking away, but obviously regulation's a thing, something to be aware of, etc. But as far as the potential of the market is concerned, it's freaking huge. A multi-billion-dollar market easily. 629 million internet users. That's ridiculous, right? Obviously not all of them are going to be buying NFTs, right? But I would say a majority of them will be at some point. Because NFTs aren't just about art, right? They're about social currency, and they're about utility. So if India can get on all of that, which I'm sure they can, because there's many very capable people, obviously, in India, and as long as VeVe obviously makes it easy and works with regulations or whatever, or ECOMI does that, then I think things should be good. Anyway, this video is 60 minutes long. I'm going to end it here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter @ZakiZoo. I cover everything going on, or a lot of stuff at least going on in NFTs, ECOMI, VeVe, all that good stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.